To do the work of Christ, to be His hands and feet on this earth, we have endured whips, ridicule, prison, and even death. We have never traveled the easy road, because easy doesn't improve the world and expand God's kingdom. We are American Baptists. Mission is in our DNA. In the 19th century, we were there, as a missional people, when Adoniram and Ann Judson crossed oceans and when he suffered imprisonment to bring Christ to the Burmese. We were there when the Holy Spirit called us to proclaim the end of the bonds of slavery from the hands and feet of our brothers and sisters. We were there when that declaration was matched by the actions of Joanna P. Moore.
In 1863, at the age of 31, Joanna P. Moore dedicated her life to work with former slaves. She became the hands and feet of Christ as she provided literacy classes to African American soldiers. Sister Moore, as she was called, also ministered to orphans in Little Rock, Arkansas, and created boarding and training schools for women who could become literate, learn the Bible, and prepare for Christian work. She established a home in New Orleans, Louisiana as well for older women who had lived on the streets. She traveled throughout Louisiana as an evangelist and came to be known affectionately as the Swamp Angel of the South. In 1884, she created the Fireside Schools. These were home-based and encouraged parents to read the Bible, have family prayer, and pass on the good that they were learning. She published a monthly Christian magazine called Hope, which was a source of lessons for the Fireside Schools. She also conducted training classes for Christian workers so that more than 3,000 Fireside Schools existed throughout the South, playing a major role in educating the freed people. Joanna P. Moore was 83 years old when she died in Nashville, Tennessee. At her request, her body was buried in a black cemetery. As one contemporary historian observed, around her grave, white hands joined with black in tender recognition of a life that bound together the two races.
As American Baptists, we were there not only in the 19th century, but also in the 20th. We were there as the hands and feet of Christ, even when a fearful nation overreacted during World War II. Within weeks after the Japanese bombing of Pearl Harbor, President Roosevelt signed Executive Order 9066. It identified all Japanese Americans on the West Coast as enemy aliens and authorized their internment to one of 10 detention camps at locations from California to Arkansas. Dr. Ralph L. Mayberry was among the American Baptists who demonstrated the courage and compassion of Christian justice in his role as the executive minister of the Los Angeles Baptist City Mission Society. By the early 1940s, the LA Society had had the largest Japanese work of any Christian group in the United States, and Dr. Mayberry was there in 1942 to help prepare the Japanese Americans emotionally and physically for their forced evacuation. During the more than 3-year internment, he visited the camps and brought needed supplies for the detainees, including books for those who were Japanese American pastors whom he shepherded. One of those young ministers was Jitsuo Morikawa, who later would become the Director of Evangelism for American Baptist National Ministries. He honored Dr. Mayberry, who has been called a hero without headlines, with these words.
He had a burning intolerance for injustice, whether against blacks or Hispanics or Asians or Caucasians. Dr. Mayberry, what you promised, you fulfilled. The legacy of your love and the riches of your confidence I will carry with me through life, and perhaps through eternity.
While Dr. Mayberry represents what we know today as state or regional ministry, so people like Dr. John W. Thomas ministered to Japanese Americans at that time as a member of what we now know as national ministries, and Florence Rumsey, who had been a missionary in Japan, representing what is now called international ministries, served at the internment center in Idaho. State or regional, national, and international mission are fully illustrated by this 20th century story, which reminds us we were there as the hands and feet of Christ. Other American Baptist stories could be told as well about Lulu Fleming, the first African-American woman missionary. She began serving in 1886 in the Congo. Walter Rauschenbusch, a seminary professor who taught theology and social reform. Helen Barrett Montgomery, the first woman president of our denomination and a translator of the Greek New Testament. Ioletta Hunt McElhaney, a college-educated Kiowa Indian who served her tribe as teacher and director of children's work. Martin Luther King Jr., the courageous spiritual leader of the nonviolent civil rights movement. Dr. Daniel Fountain, who after more than 30 years of serving as a medical missionary, continues healthcare work around the globe in retirement. Today, one of the best ways to be united in mission and say, I am there, is through your support of United Mission. This single way of giving empowers American Baptists to express the missional impulse for being the hands and feet of Christ, from the local church to the ends of the earth. United Mission is listed at the top of the mission support form used by your church. United Mission is the first line of response that ensures mission dollars go to the work of your state or region, with activities such as area ministry, campus ministry, outdoor ministry like camping, placement assistance, and church transformation efforts. United Mission supports the endeavors of national ministries like Christian Center work, new church planting, Judson Press publications, evangelism and discipleship resources, and disaster response. United Mission goes to the efforts of international ministries, whose mission incorporates such work as evangelism, healing, agriculture, leadership training, and economic opportunity creation. And United Mission makes possible the services of general ministries, which include designing stewardship resources, bringing us together for deliberation and celebration, offering a denomination-wide news service, and providing information for regions and congregations. When you and your church give through United Mission, you are saying, I am there to build on the rich legacy of American Baptists. I am there to help respond to the present and the future mission to which God is calling us. I am there to be part of our American Baptist family, touching the lives of countless numbers of people as we seek to be faithful disciples of Jesus, the hands and feet of Christ. I am there